Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Much Ado About Film podcast with me, Celeste.
Me, Grace.
So, today we're going to be talking about The Lighthouse and the 2024 version of Nosferatu, which are both directed by Robert Eggers. See, I love to go into films blind. So had I known how weird these films were and that you not had much um experience with horror, I probably wouldn't have chosen these films to do because it does feel like I've thrown you a
They
bit in the
they
deep
were
end.
certainly interesting. Yeah, yeah. It was certainly a very interesting experience watching both of these, especially since I have never seen a horror movie in my entire life. Um, Not through being scared of them, too scared to watch them just because it's never really felt like it.
Yeah, we probably should have gone with some slashers or something, because that would have been an easier way into the genre than this. So let's start with The Lighthouse, since that was the older of the two films. I knew that this film it was going to be weird, and I knew it was going to be a bit surrealist. I didn't know any of the specifics though, and I quite like that. I didn't. So
I mean, I didn't think it was going to be surrealist. I know nothing about Robert Eggers as a director. Um, I know nothing. I expected it to kind of be boilerplate horror, right? These two characters stuck in a lighthouse together. I thought one of them was going to go insane and kill the other one or something. Oh, I don't know. Bit of the Shining energy. And it was kind of that, but very much also insane.
yeah, I mean, it's left ambiguous enough that you can kind of read into it what you think it's about. Because I was looking on Letterboxd, and there's that final scene. I'm skipping ahead a bit here, but where Robert Pattinson's character is having his liver eaten by some seagulls, and that's very reminiscent of Prometheus from Greek myth. So many have naturally thought, oh, maybe this whole film is a retelling of the myth of Prometheus, which maybe it is. That is definitely one way of reading it.
I did like the use of folklore and myths in this film. I will say overall, not a fan of this film. Not really my thing. I came away. Yeah, I did read an interview with Robert Eggers that said something like there are definitely more questions than answers in this film, and that's all well and good, but I have no idea what I just watched. It was absolutely mad. I was sat there just trying to figure it out the whole time. I didn't find it enjoyable. The pacing was it was so slow. Nothing really happened. I did not enjoy it, but I did like the uh theme of folklore and myths.
Mm,
That was the only bit that I really enjoyed. And Willem Dafoe's acting because I love him.
yeah. So when it comes to endings, do you not like ambiguous endings then? Just as a general question.
No, I hate them. I hate them. Unless it's to lead into a sequel or a series of films. Like I've always liked, so in trilogies,
Mm,
right, the second film in a trilogy always has like a very open ending, which is fine because you know it's going to be completed in the third one. Like in the Hunger Games, at the end
mm.
of Catching Fire, it's all very up in the air. You don't know what's going on, right? So I'm fine with it in that sense. But in standalone films like this, give me an ending. Give me an ending. Why did I watch a whole film, painfully slow film at that, not to even understand or know what on earth was going on by the end of it?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I mean I don't disagree to be fair. It's not my favorite way of ending a film. Um yeah, see, when I watched The Lighthouse, I wasn't feeling 100%. And so this was 100% not the intention of the director, but the soundscape, it's very kind of soothing. Like, you've got the seagulls, you've got the sea and the waves. And so there were a couple of times, even though I was
Mhm.
engaged in the story, that I almost fell asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I almost fell asleep at multiple points because I was just so bored. I love Willem Dafoe's acting. His like little monologues and stuff were really good. But I couldn't understand what he was even going on about.
Mm,
I didn't know what he was talking about. The only line he said that I really fully understood was, "It's bad luck to kill a seabird." That's it. That's all I really got from this film.
mm.
Don't kill seagulls. That was my message from this. And then there's Robert Pattinson's accent, which was certainly interesting. I didn't get it. The aspect ratio got on my nerves.
Did it?
I know it's a stylistic choice, but it did irritate me.
Hmm.
I don't like, just give me a full screen. I don't mind the black and white style. That was interesting. And after researching it, found out that it's a 1.19 to 1 aspect ratio to increase the claustrophobic atmosphere. That's apparently what it was, and I don't feel like it did that, in my opinion. It was just annoying.
I mean, I found the like the themes like it felt like there was some commentary on religion somewhere in there. I'm not entirely sure what it would have been, but it's like, I mean, I did kind of think about the creation story a little bit. I mean, which is, I mean, often compared to the myth of Prometheus anyway, of having this forbidden one character having a forbidden knowledge and the other character not having that forbidden knowledge and that desire to not and that other character doesn't understand why they haven't been given this knowledge, and so they then end up kind of defeating the other character to get the knowledge that they want to gain, if that makes sense. Like the lighthouse, and the light feels like symbolic of that. And then there was also another thing I was thinking of was like maybe this is hell. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing is because it's just these two characters in there, right?
Mm.
So in some ways, I was wondering if Willem Dafoe's character was a, if not Satan, then a devil of some kind. And the light from the lighthouse represents trying to get to heaven, maybe. I don't know, there's different ways of reading into it, but none of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the interesting thing about ambiguity is that you can read pretty much anything into it. So there's like no right or wrong answer. I did definitely think of mythology in some ways when watching this. Um, there's also one of these movies where, like, I can't say I enjoyed my experience of watching it. But I think much like when I watched Poor Things and when I watched the second half of Saltburn, like I'm not enjoying myself, but I am appreciating that a filmmaker is actually doing something different and taking risks. And I appreciate the artistry of it and that it's not just the same movie that I've seen 100 times, if that makes sense. Like there's nothing really quite like it. And I think although I wasn't enjoying the film, I was enjoying that it was something brand new.
Yeah, yeah, I do understand that. And it's, as a piece of art, I do find it interesting. It's not my kind of film. I'm not a huge fan of surrealism in film. Well, it depends on how it's used and how often. I think I like what you were saying about it maybe being hell because it does kind of feel like they're stuck in a loop
Mm,
forever and they don't really understand it. What I don't understand is what's so special about the lighthouse light. I know it's meant to be representative of, something being just out of your grasp or whatever,
mm.
something being kept from you that you want. But it's just a light that spins round. I don't really understand why that's so interesting to them.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of links to the other thing I was thinking about when watching it because like sirens are a big part of this as well. That's the only other character that you really see is some sort of mermaid, who in these kind of dream sequences. And so I was wondering if like the lighthouse, much like sirens in like the was it the Odyssey, they lure people back to the shore. But just one is the safer way of
Yeah.
doing it than the other. So I do wonder if, it's the call of the lighthouse and it's some sort of alluring kind of metaphor. And also like when you see the way that Willem Dafoe's character reacts to the light earlier on, it does kind of feel like the way an addict would react to something. Like it almost feels like he's addicted to it in some ways. He's hoarding it and
Yeah.
saving it,
Yeah, that's true.
and keeping it away from others. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. And apparently, I think I read somewhere that neither Willem Dafoe nor Robert Pattinson knew actually what they were looking at when they shot those scenes. Like even they didn't know what it was. So I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that must have been really weird to film.
Mm.
Um, I did find it interesting. I read that Robert Pattinson had said that it was 100% a comedy, which is such an interesting take on that film.
Yeah.
He would call that a comedy. The only time I laughed was in disbelief because I had no idea what I was looking at.
So one of the things that I found that both Nosferatu and the Lighthouse had in common is dreams. Like there were sequences where you're not quite sure if a character is dreaming, or whether they're actually experiencing it. And like more often than not, it ends up
Mm,
actually being real. Which I find really interesting. I mean, I haven't watched any of Robert Eggers' other films, so I don't know if that's also present in The Northman or The Witch. But I just found that really interesting as a link and as a way of kind of confusing both the characters and the audience as well.
yeah, I think it's a good use of the surrealism there and tricking the audience. I think that's always fun when you go, oh, obviously it's a dream, so this isn't actually happening, and then it turns out it is.
Mm.
Or you think it's real and then it turns out to be a dream. I always think that's fun in films. Unless it's, one of those gets to the end and then turns out it was all a dream.
Oh yeah.
I don't enjoy that because why have I just wasted my time? But other than that,
Mm.
I'm a big fan. It's a good fun play with perspective, I think.
So how did you feel about Nosferatu?
I enjoyed it more. Still not a huge fan, but I loved the gothic style of it. The the sets and the color, like the just the style and the tone of everything was so immersive, and I found that a lot more engaging than the Lighthouse.
Mm.
I also liked the characters more. Obviously, Bill Skarsgård is an absolute legend, and he was hella creepy, in the best kind of way. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Well, not I enjoyed it a lot more than the other one. Still not a huge fan because it's still very slow burn,
Mm.
very slow expositional middle, and that, lost my attention somewhat. But I enjoyed it more. I will give you that.
Mm. I no, I agree. I definitely enjoyed this one more. I think I mean it
I also
looks
think I knew more about it going in. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I mean I know of the story of Nosferatu, like the original film. And I knew that it was very loose, like the original was very loosely based on Dracula. But what I hadn't realized going into this was
mm,
how much it both resembles Dracula and doesn't. Like, because I think the first half is basically just Dracula, but with the characters have different names. Whereas
yeah.
the second half is a completely new film, a complete new story.
Yeah, I kind of liked that it was a remake that's not a remake. Almost, I know it's not, because obviously it's the kind of remake of the original film. I can't remember what year the other Nosferatu came out
It was the
off the top of my head.
1920s, but I don't know
Yeah.
exactly.
So I did like that, but the only I mean, I say I knew more about it. I knew it was loosely based on Dracula, all that stuff, and I'd seen the memes. That is mostly what I mean when I say I knew more about it. I'd seen it on the internet, um, people taking the mick out of it, and saying that it was weird as hell, which was true. It was very strange. But she was really good. What was the actress's name?
What,
Um,
Lily Rose Depp?
I really liked her. Yes. Yeah. I thought she was really good. Brought some more emotional depth to it, I think.
Yeah. Um, I found some of the themes symbolism quite interesting because I guess the underlying story or the underlying theme is about female sexuality, I guess. Like that's a heavy
Mm,
part
yeah.
of the plot of it's in a time where in the Victorian era women were considered to not experience sexual attraction or sexual pleasure. Like that was a widely held belief by lots of doctors and scientists. And so, and also like sex
Yeah.
outside of marriage, I mean, didn't really become normalized until the 1960s and 70s. And even then it was still like, you don't do that. And so there is like, I think that's a strong part of the story is, the vampirism feels like a metaphor for desire towards someone you shouldn't be experiencing desire towards in some ways, like because
Yeah.
you've got Ellen and Count Orlok right at the start when she's still a child. And then you've got her husband Thomas later on having, well, I mean, it's not sex, but it's very erotic in a way, and you can tell that that's
Yeah.
the metaphor.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well that it had that again kind of theme of something forbidden or out of reach, like in the lighthouse. Because obviously not meant to be feeling that way, not meant to be acting that way, and all that kind of thing. Which I think links well to the lighthouse. And Mike, again, like you said, I haven't seen any of his other work. Oh, it was 1922, by the way.
Hmm.
The original Nosferatu, 1922. Yeah, I found it Count Orlok, Orlok, is is this embodiment of perverse kind of desire, and it's just really. I mean, it made me uncomfortable watching it, but like in a good way,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. In a way that obviously that was the point, because obviously he's meant to look like a monster. He's not meant to look attractive. And yet Ellen is oddly attracted to him. And then it just, oh, it really freaked me out. It's again not what I was expecting from a horror. I expected more, like old cheesy horror, running through a house with a knife and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, it was something completely different. It was so much more psychological than I expected it to be, which I actually enjoyed in a way.
Yeah, and I mean, what's interesting about the way Count Orlok looks is he is probably the most accurate to the book version of Dracula that has ever been depicted in cinema, which is interesting, including the
Mm,
mustache, apparently.
yeah.
Like, book Dracula has a mustache, which is so weird to me.
I do like how faithful it is to not just the original movie, but it does feel more like because we watched Dracula, one of the first Dracula movies in module at uni,
Yeah, the Hammer horror one
I
with
think.
Christopher Lee.
Yes, yeah. And it did, after doing a bit of research into Dracula as a character, this feels so much more uh like how he feels in the books, in the book, sorry, which I like as a concept. Oh, this is so inconsequential, but I found this out doing some research about it that they had so many real rats in those scenes. And that is mental to me that there were actual rats just scurrying about. I would not have enjoyed that. Filming that, no, thank you, get me off that set. But I think it really feels like that's the kind of thing Robert Eggers would do. And that's an opinion I'm giving off a very limited knowledge of his catalogue, obviously. But I think he's very dedicated to the immersion in his films and their eras and their uh kind of the themes and the core of the story, just making sure that that's clear for the audiences visually rather than through dialogue, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely seems to be a fan of practical effects from what
Mm.
of the two films I've seen. I mean, like a lot of the birds that were used in the lighthouse were like puppets, and you can actually see the string in some of the shots.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, in some ways, I think that makes it more charming because, like, I quite like that. You know, I feel like some film purists might complain and go, "Well, why didn't you CGI those lines out?" But I actually quite like it.
I don't know. They were both a tough watch for me. Interesting introductions to the horror genre. Wait, I have seen a horror film before. Didn't we watch um we watched one in a module. Um this the famous horror film Norman Bates. Oh my God, what's it called?
Psycho,
That's really embarrassing. Yes, yes, we watched that in a lecture once.
yeah, and I mean, I would argue that being John
So
Malkovich is
I've been
also a
lying this
horror.
whole time. Oh, I love that film. I wouldn't call that a horror.
I'd say it's a psychological horror, but
True, true. That's what these are as well, isn't it? Psychological horror. Whereas Psycho is more of your stereotypical horror. I okay, it's a bit psychological as well, actually. I take that back.
yeah, I mean, I'd say Psycho is psychological horror with a bit of slasher, whereas these ones are
Yeah,
gothic kind of supernatural horror with a bit of psychological
yeah.
horror thrown in there.
I would be interested in watching like a full-blown slasher or something like that at some point.
Hmm.
Just to expand my horizons because it is quite embarrassing to admit the number of films I haven't seen as a screenwriter and a huge film nerd. The number of films I haven't seen is actually embarrassing. I've never seen um The Shining,
I haven't
which I
either,
think is
to
bad,
be
or
fair.
Silence of the Lambs.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh, maybe we should put that on our list.
We
Well,
we should do them as a double feature. I mean, similar kind of
oh, stay tuned, guys.
era.
Um, but there's so many classics that I just haven't seen.
But
And while I feel like Nosferatu might become something of a psychological horror classic in 30 years, it's got that vibe to it. The Lighthouse, I don't think will, but that's just because I think it's rubbish. But, it scored really well on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff when I Googled the reception of it. So
I mean,
maybe I'm just wrong, but
well,
I did not like it.
people love it. People like the Lighthouse is a pretty big cult fan base, and it's part of the reason so many people were
I don't
excited.
understand.
Part of the reason so many people
I
were
don't
excited.
understand why.
It's part of the reason so many people were excited for Nosferatu as well. Was they were like, "Oh, the director of the Lighthouse, this could be great."
Yeah, I just don't get what there is to like about it, other than the fact that it's got Willem Dafoe in it with the Green Goblin and Edward Cullen fighting it out on an island. That's basically what we just watched. But with some weird ass accents that I don't fully understand. Oh, I just didn't enjoy it. I don't understand how it can be that popular, but you know what? To each their own. Gotta have your own opinion.
Speaking of ratings, what did you give each film?
Well, I would give The Lighthouse a stunning 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, whatever it is on Letterboxd.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing I enjoyed about it. Not really.
Okay.
Nothing that pulled it back. I would give it 0, but that feels bad. Um, and then Nosferatu, I'm gonna give like a 4. It's still not my bag, but better, and I could objectively see why it's a good film. Still
Hmm.
not my thing, but better. So 4 out of 10 for that one. I'm getting confused with our ratings now. Are we doing this out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 10.
Right. So The Lighthouse is a 1 out of 10, and Nosferatu is a 4 out of 10.
Right, okay. No, fair enough. Um, my ratings are gonna be so different from yours. I mean, I didn't necessarily enjoy The Lighthouse, but I still gave it an 8.5 out of 10 just because of the pure artistry of it. Like, I thought it was,
8.5!
yeah, it was so well crafted. I mean, I did this with Poor Things. I gave that film a 7 point something out of 10 because it's one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen, but I hated it. So, I hated bits of it, not all of it. But yeah, no, I gave this one an 8.5 because I think, although it's not my thing, I can see why other people would like it to a certain extent. And I think it was so different as well, and it was taking risks, which I've got to respect.
Okay, I can understand that. It makes sense. But an 8.5 out of 10 seems mad to me.
And then Nosferatu, I gave 8.7 out of 10. I liked it more. I actually enjoyed this one. I love the atmosphere of it. I mean, it did get a bit slow towards like the end of the second act into the third act. Like I was a little, like, my interest waned a bit, and but I think overall a really great film.
I understand that one more. And I'm glad it was even just a little bit higher than The Lighthouse.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to
Something
films,
I did say, I this delay is really screwing us over when it comes to
it
talking
is.
at the same time.
You go.
Okay. I called my dad just after I watched The Lighthouse or towards the end, and I said to him I preferred watching Fight Club to watching this film. And that is really saying something because up until recently, I think Fight Club is possibly my least favorite film I have ever seen in my entire life. I despise it. And I might get crucified for that, but I do hate it. But this was worse. The Lighthouse was worse than Fight Club.
Okay, fair. I haven't seen the Fight Club, to be fair. Mainly because we had the
Don't do it. Don't do it.
mainly because we had the plot twist spoilt for us in a lecture. I can't remember what the context was, but so I was like, well, there's no point in me watching it now. So
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing with films like The Lighthouse is that because I try and rate films kind of half objectively and half subjectively. So like I try and think, how well was this film crafted versus how much I enjoyed it. And so because of that, like if I really enjoyed a film but I thought it wasn't actually that well crafted, I'm probably not going to give it higher than a 7. Whereas if it's a film that I think is really well crafted but I didn't like it, it's probably not going to get above an 8.5. Like it's not going to get above 4 stars out of 5 kind of thing because it's not perfect. 'Cause it's for me a perfect movie has to be both.
Yeah.
Like it has to be phenomenally well crafted, and I have to have enjoyed the experience of watching it. So that's my logic.
Do you have an answer for the dreaded question, what's your favorite film of all time?
I don't know if I do because it's gonna change. Like I mean, if you asked me, "Oh, what's your
Mm.
favorite film in this genre?" I'd be able to answer that. And even then, depending on the genre, I'd probably still be like, "Yeah, but I've got 5 that I could suggest." So I mean, I could tell you what my top 4 on Letterboxd is if that would help. currently, but even that changes fairly regularly.
Oh
So,
yeah, go on then.
okay, so I've got Pride and Prejudice 2005, which I know you didn't like, but I love that film with my entire soul. We've got The Remains of the Day, which I watched not that long ago, like last month when I was on holiday in we went where did we go? The Cotswolds. We went to the Cotswolds, and in the holiday home we were staying in, they had like a little TV in my room, and so I turned on the TV. Didn't have any streaming services, so I just turned over to Channel 4, and it was on, and so I was like, oh, I might as well watch it, and it blew me away, that film. Um,
Hmm.
then you've got Nimona. There's plenty of other animated films I could have gone with, but that's a relatively recent one. I actually cried
I
watching it.
love that movie.
See, I never cry when watching
I
films,
cried
so
too.
and then the fourth film I've got on here is Knives Out because I love a good murder mystery, and there aren't enough murder mystery
Yes,
films. So, I mean, my
agree.
top four,
I would like to rectify something you said.
sure.
I love the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, I swear it was you in a
I
lecture
love
that
that
really
movie.
didn't like
I
it.
don't like the BBC. Uh, oh, I
Ah,
love it. I just don't like the BBC adaptation of it.
okay, that's maybe
You know, the
I got
miniseries.
confused.
Don't
Right.
like that. Yeah, no. Also, if Naomi ever listens to this, which actually she might, she would kill me if she found out I didn't like the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. So I would just like to put that out there, and I will address Naomi directly right now. Naomi, my love, you know how much I love that movie. Don't
Okay.
listen to Celeste, please.
Clearly I got it the wrong way around, but I swear I thought you were criticizing the film in that lecture when you were going off on one. I didn't realize you were criticizing the show, which fair enough.
But overall, I really enjoy your top four. I think they are all correct decisions.
Thank you. What are your top four, if you have one?
I actually don't think I have a top four on Letterboxd, like put up on Letterboxd. Which because I need to get back into using Letterboxd. Let me see, did I put top four on there? No, I didn't. I will get back to using it because I haven't been using it at all. But off the top of my head, my favorite movies change depending on like what mood I'm in. My favorite movie in terms of how it makes me feel is Avengers Endgame. That movie means the world to me, and I will defend it with my life. Um, so that is 100% up there. Um, Dead Poet Society breaks my soul every time I watch it, but I do it anyway. What else would be up there? Ah, Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick. What a film. Was it just a step-by-step remake of the first one with different characters? Pretty much. Do I care? Absolutely not. Gosh, what else would be on my top four? Let me check what I've actually reviewed on my letterbox. Can movie musicals count?
Yeah?
Because I feel like I do love a movie musical. Oh, at the minute, it would be K-pop Demon Hunters purely because I'm obsessed with the soundtrack.
Yeah, I did like that film. It was very good.
I watched that and Nimona back to back. It was a good day. Oh, and also most Spider-Man movies.
Mm.
Most, not all. Yeah, I just thought that was an important discussion to have for the podcast because I realized I don't think I've ever asked you that question.
Oh, I don't think you have. Yeah, it changes, is the answer. Um, but I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
gun to my head, if I had to choose one, it would probably be Pride and Prejudice 2005, because I've seen it so many times. But, it changes.
Yeah, it depends on the mood, what you're after for a film. Because if I need a film to make me have a good cry, I'll go Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting, or Me Before You.
I mean, Good Will Hunting is another one that
Films have
has been
different
on my top.
roles.
Mm.
I do love Good Will Hunting. Banging film. Wrote one of my essays about that at uni.
Yeah, so do I. It's the same essay, I'm assuming. Like, I mean, it's in like
Oh
same module.
yeah.
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 Because I mean, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah. Psychology in
yeah.
screenwriting.
I mean, for me, with my top to get in my top four, it has to be a film that I could write an essay on. Like, because to write an essay, you've got to watch it at least two times, if not three times, all the way through, and then keep referring back to it and watching clips of it. And so for me, I'd need to be able to watch that film and see myself watching that film and not getting bored with it. So that's my criteria for
Yeah.
getting the 5 star is like this has got to be like, Portrait of a Lady on Fire is another one, or like Tangled, or How to Train Your Dragon, the animated one. And there's loads of other ones that I could fit in there, but like, it's got to be something that I wouldn't get sick of after rewatching it multiple times in a row.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did love Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Yeah, I need to get back into using Letterboxd.
See, I have the opposite problem. I
Really need
use
to
it
be
too
using
much.
it. I just forget.
I'm on it constantly. Okay, so that's everything for this week. Join us next time when we review two more movies.